Memorable feats in the Roman-Germanic Wars. The Roman-Germanic Wars were punctuated by extraordinary acts of strategy, bravery, and resilience. These memorable feats, achieved by both the Romans and the Germanic tribes, not only shaped the course of the wars, but also left a lasting legacy in history. From cunning ambushes to heroic last stands, the Roman-Germanic Wars were defined by moments that transcended mere conflict, becoming symbols of determination, defiance, and ingenuity. Chapter 1. The Ambush at Teutoburg Forest, AD 9. The Triumph of Arminius. One of the most iconic feats of the Roman-Germanic Wars was Arminius's ambush of 3 Roman legions under Publius Quinctilius Varus in the dense Teutoburg Forest. A former auxiliary officer in the Roman army, Arminius used his intimate knowledge of Roman tactics and terrain to orchestrate a devastating ambush. The strategy: Arminius lured the legions into the forest by feigning loyalty and providing false intelligence. Once the Romans were deep in the treacherous terrain, his warriors attacked from all sides. The outcome: the Roman legions were annihilated, with approximately 15,000 to 20,000 soldiers killed. The defeat forced Rome to abandon its ambitions of conquering Germania beyond the Rhine. Legacy: the ambush remains one of the most famous examples of asymmetric warfare in history. Arminius's victory immortalized him as a symbol of resistance against foreign domination. Chapter 2. Germanicus's recovery of the Eagle Standards, AD 15 to 16. The vengeance of Rome. Following the disaster at Teutoburg Forest, Emperor Tiberius sent Germanicus, one of Rome's most skilled generals, to restore Roman honor. During his campaigns, Germanicus achieved a feat of both tactical and symbolic significance by recovering the lost Eagle Standards of Varus's legions. The campaign: Germanicus led his forces deep into Germania, defeating the Germanic tribes in several pitched battles, including the Battle of Idistavizo. The recovery: after defeating Arminius's forces, Germanicus retrieved the Eagle Standards, symbols of Roman pride, which had been captured during the Teutoburg ambush. Legacy: the return of the Eagle Standards to Rome was celebrated as a moral victory, bolstering Roman confidence despite the inability to fully subdue Germania. Chapter 3. The Testudo Formation in Action. Roman discipline in adversity. The Roman testudo, tortoise, formation was a hallmark of the legion's discipline and ingenuity. In the face of Germanic ambushes, Roman soldiers often used this formation to shield themselves from a barrage of projectiles. The formation: soldiers interlocked their large scutum shields to create a nearly impenetrable shell, protecting themselves from arrows, javelins, and other missiles. Memorable feat: during one ambush near the Rhine, a small detachment of Roman soldiers reportedly held off a much larger Germanic force by forming a testudo. Their discipline allowed them to survive until reinforcements arrived. Legacy: the testudo exemplified the Roman army's ability to adapt and maintain cohesion under extreme pressure, a crucial factor in its resilience against the unpredictable tactics of the Germanic tribes. Chapter 4. The Battle of Idistavizo, AD 16. Germanicus's tactical genius. The Battle of Idistavizo was one of the largest engagements of the Roman-Germanic Wars. Germanicus lured Arminius into open battle, a rare occurrence in the conflict, and delivered a decisive victory. The battle: Germanicus positioned his legions strategically to counter the Germanic tribes' charge. The Roman cavalry flanked the Germanic forces, while the disciplined infantry held the line. Arminius's escape. Despite the Roman victory, Arminius managed to escape, continuing to resist Roman advances. Legacy: the battle demonstrated the might of the Roman legions when fighting on their terms. It also underscored the challenge of capturing or decisively defeating Arminius, a master of evasion. Chapter 5. The Construction of the Limes. Engineering mastery. The Romans, realizing the futility of conquering Germania, focused on securing their borders. One of their greatest feats was the construction of the limes, a network of fortifications, watchtowers, and roads along the Rhine and Danube rivers. The limes spanned hundreds of miles, providing a formidable barrier against Germanic raids. It also facilitated the movement of troops and supplies, ensuring Rome could quickly respond to threats. The impact. The limes served as a physical and psychological boundary, marking the limits of Roman power in northern Europe. Legacy. The limes became a symbol of Rome's strategic adaptability, demonstrating its ability to defend rather than conquer when expansion was no longer viable. Chapter 6. The leadership of Arminius. Chapter 5. The construction of the limes. Engineering mastery. The Romans, realizing the futility of conquering Germania, focused on securing their borders. One of their greatest feats was the construction of the limes, a network of fortifications, watchtowers, and roads along the Rhine and Danube rivers. The feat. The limes spanned hundreds of miles, providing a formidable barrier against Germanic raids. It also facilitated the movement of troops and supplies, ensuring Rome could quickly respond to threats. The impact. The limes served as a physical and psychological boundary, marking the limits of Roman power in northern Europe. Legacy. The limes became a symbol of Rome's strategic adaptability, demonstrating its ability to defend rather than conquer when expansion was no longer viable. Chapter 6. The leadership of Arminius. A symbol of unity. Arminius's ability to unite the fragmented Germanic tribes was itself a remarkable feat. The tribes, often at odds with one another, rarely cooperated on a large scale. Arminius's charisma and strategic brilliance allowed him to forge alliances and coordinate large-scale resistance. The challenge. Germanic tribes were fiercely independent, valuing their autonomy above all else. Convincing them to unite, even temporarily, required extraordinary leadership. The result. Arminius's leadership culminated in victories like the ambush at Teutoburg Forest and his continued resistance against Germanicus. Legacy. Although Arminius was eventually betrayed and killed by his own people, his efforts left an enduring legacy of Germanic unity and defiance. Chapter 7. The Marcomannic Resistance, AD 166 to 180. The persistence of the Germanic tribes. During the Marcomannic Wars, the Germanic tribes demonstrated extraordinary resilience and adaptability. Despite facing the might of the Roman Empire under Emperor Marcus Aurelius, they continued to challenge Roman dominance along the Danube frontier. The coalition, Germanic leaders such as Balomar of the Marcomanni, Banda Noi, Teep, ChatGPT da Noi, ChatGPT. Chapter 7. Continued, the Marcomannic Resistance, AD 166 to 180. The coalition against Rome. Germanic leaders like Balomar of the Marcomanni achieved a remarkable feat by organizing coalitions of disparate tribes to launch coordinated attacks on Roman territory. Despite their cultural and territorial divisions, these tribes united under the shared goal of pushing back against Roman encroachment. The feat. Balomar led a coalition that crossed the Danube and inflicted significant damage on Roman settlements, even threatening northern Italy at one point. These incursions forced Marcus Aurelius to personally lead military campaigns, despite dealing with the Antonine Plague that had weakened the empire. Tough battles. The tribes employed both traditional hit-and-run tactics and more organized assaults on Roman fortifications, showcasing their growing strategic acumen. Legacy. The Marcomannic Wars exemplified the tribes' ability to adapt and unite under extreme pressure, solidifying their reputation as formidable opponents of Rome. Chapter 8. The Roman Stand at the Danube. The resilience of Marcus Aurelius's legions. The Marcomannic Wars tested the endurance of the Roman legions stationed along the Danube frontier. Despite being outnumbered and stretched thin by simultaneous threats across the empire, the Roman soldiers managed to hold the line. The Battle of Carnuntum, c. 170. At this fortress near the Danube, Roman forces repelled a massive Germanic assault. The disciplined defense of Carnuntum became a symbol of Roman resolve during the conflict. Marcus Aurelius's strategy. The emperor implemented policies to recruit new soldiers, including non-Roman auxiliaries, to reinforce the legions. His reforms ensured that the frontier was not overrun.